So hi, my name is Marc Petit, and I run the media and entertainment business for Autodesk. As you know, we do the tools for film and games and advertising people. So there's a number of ways that we fit in this world, of globalization and also commoditization. Number one is we adopt and support open data standards. I mean, that's the first, rule and basic rule. If you want to be able to collaborate on the project, you need to be able to communicate and share the data. So through initiatives like the support of Alembic, the Alembic 1.0 got released this week. It's a fantastic leadership initiative from Lucasfilm and Sony Picture Imageworks in getting together and say, we're all doing the same thing. We all have our own cache format. Let's get together and create a standard from the industry. So that's an initiative we supported from day one, and we actually going to have the support of Alembic in the upcoming service pack for Maya, which is going to be soonly be released. So it's one important is contribute through FBX. It's a big engineering effort. That's software that's freely available to the community to drive interoperability. So the first element is data needs to flow through the ecosystem. Be able to collaborate on shows, suppliers, vendors, and visual effects company. Everybody needs to be able to share the data. So that's one element of standardization, and everybody wants this to be very open and as much as possible open source. The other element is the standardization on the tool. Make sure that tools like, for example, like Maya, are widely known and adopted by the industry in terms of being standardized so that you can find available talent. We work a lot to make sure that those products are easy to use, easy to learn, easy to deploy, so that they don't get in the way and they are easy to operate, and you can actually make money using them. So that aspect, standardization of the tool is very important for us. And there will be a next step, I think, in the industry is the start of a standardization of the processes. Because things that are known, like the bread and butter industry, should be done the same way, across the industry. So we're seeing those three elements: standardization of tools, data, and processes happening, and that's the recipe, I think, to drive the cost down, drive the complexity down, and make sure that everyone can compete and everyone can differentiate themselves, again, on the artistic side of it. Well, it's an exhilarating task to satisfy the need of the creative community, because by definition, anything that's creative and visual is iterative. So, behind all of this magic that we see on the screen there is a lot of engineering, and a lot of things we do are very down to earth engineering to make sure that we can process data fast enough for people to make creative decisions. And I would even say that we allow people to see their changes and change their mind in real time to make sure that they iterate and they get to the visual result that they want. So it's a daunting task from an engineering perspective, because we got to work on performance. We got to make things happen 24 frames per second or 60 frames per second in games. So it's a massive technological challenge, and we spend a lot of time in complexity management and performance. That's one aspect. The other aspect, as you mentioned, is in entertainment, there are very hard deadlines. When the movie has to come out on a certain date, the movie has to come out. So we also need to provide services and support to our customers to make sure that, whatever happens, they will meet their deadlines. The technology will be available and the services will be available to them. So we have to deal with the issue of high availability, and we have to deal with those issues of performance. So it's a lot of engineering. Thank God we have very talented engineers on the team, but it's it's a very pragmatic approach to allow our customers to be extremely creative. I think we see our customers becoming very strategic in how they produce and how they compete. They've learned that, and they're coming to us saying we don't want to reinvent the wheel. So they're now very willing to adopt and kind of standardize their production techniques, make sure they learn how to do the basic stuff very quickly so that they can focus on what's going to make a specific show different. So it's very important, that drives a lot of standardization. Everywhere where an in-house tool, can be replaced by a commercial tool, they are making those decisions now to make sure that they don't spend time maintaining software that they should not be doing, that can invest all of their resources in making the picture on the screen look good and not, developing technology. So we're engaging our customers in those partnerships where we work with them to make sure that our products, such as Maya, delivered on the basic need that they have, so that can be very intentional in driving, their competitive separation, making sure that the image on the screen is exactly what the director wanted. Well, I think today we're clearly in transition phase, and I think we're at this moment where the complexity of the content is far outpacing the growth of the budget, and I think simply our technology is not good enough. I do not know what's going to be the business model of the future. There's a lot of conversation around business model. There is one thing that we're all seeing is the freelance workforce gets squeezed in the process in this transition. It's very painful for everybody. It's very painful for enterprises to generate profit. It's very painful for individual, because they have to work long hours. I think this is all the reflection of this transition. But we are seeing, technological evolution. We're seeing like availability of cloud computing. We're seeing all the work that we're doing for standardization. I think is going to help the industry get to the next level. We're learning. We're a very young industry. I mean, if you compare ourselves, to other industry, we're teenagers. We're going through a big transformation. The film just got digital yesterday. It's not even fully digital. We still have to live with a lot of the constraint of celluloid. This is going to go away. We got stereoscopy. We got 48 frames per second, 60 frames per second. We're freeing ourselves from that element. We're getting fully digital world, and I think web-based collaboration. The level of computing power you get from the cloud, the standardization of tools, standardization of data will help the industry move to the next level. So I think that's why we're working very hard, and we're investing a lot right now in our tools to make sure that we are leaders in this transition, to make sure that the technology helps. And it's also we were post-production people. Now with virtual production, and we are present on the set. Of course, everybody can think about Avatar, but we've seen Rise of the Ape recently. Where you have the visual effects technology made it to the set. And also, we've been collaborating with the previous society. The VFX technology is also being used, at the very early stage of the movie for previous. I think, we're still trying to understand what are the processes to leverage the technology, but I think we can impact not only post-production, but the movie-making process holistically. And that's the future and the direction we want to see with our tools is how can we apply this technology, to make things more predictable and to make sure that the director gets what he wants. Because at the end of the day, the director has a very clear picture in his mind of what he wants most of the time. It's just, it's a very complex conversation to get him what he wants and make sure that he agrees on it. And I think, again, technology can help a lot there. But we're very early days still. It's going to be a lot of work to get there, a lot of very high-quality interactive graphics and all those kind of things. We actually have been, we're a long-time partner with Disney, but today we've announced the licensing of the X-Gen technology, which is a very important piece of technology because that's what allowed Disney and Pixar actually, to create those very complex, very realistic environments. It allows you to create hair and fur, which had made a lot of elements, but allows you to create vegetations, debris, all those things that make, a computer graphics picture something that's really believable. So it's a very important element for us. We'll make this technology available for everybody. It used to be technology is very complex to develop. It used to be kind of the private domain of the bigger studio, but with this kind of partnership, we can tag this technology and make it available to all the students in the world and all the studios in all the countries in the world. So it's very important, and it really is a good example of the amount of standardization that's going on in the industry. So our vision there, we want to connect all of those disciplines that you mentioned. We want to make sure that the data flows freely amongst those, and we think that the power will be in the workflow. Today when you have a very linear pipeline, you have to go back in the pipeline. It's very costly in time because the data is very specific at each and every stage of the pipeline. So by working on having a data representation that's encompasses all the requirement and having the right set of tools, I think we can make a huge difference in the workflow, and we can allow people to change their mind and come back in the pipeline without this being, pain and cost for a lot of people and a lot of stakeholders. So I think we're getting there, and the cloud, because this data will be gigantic, and it will require a lot of processing power, a lot of storage. I think the centralization of computing resources, also known as the cloud, is a very important transition. It's a great opportunity for us to adopt it. I know today we think our data is big, there are security problems, but that's today. we know that tomorrow those problems will be solved, and then we can have a production cloud, we can serve the data, serve the tool, and then we can change our mind finally without this being a very expensive process. We see a lot of interest for everybody to be creative and create. So for example, we have 5 million users of our Sketchbook application, which is a sketching application, and we just released for the iPad a sculpting application. So with your fingers, you can actually take pre-existing 3D models that you can download from our marketplace, and you can sculpt them and you can paint them. You can do digital makeup, you can customize them. It's very amazing, and that's really for everybody, for kids from 7 to 77 years who just want to have fun, creating with 3D. It's a very, very exciting application.